Yo, what up? It's King Reggie. In today's video, I'll be giving you a full settings guide for the best performance in Apex Legends Season 13. Before we start the video, if you enjoy content like this, please like and subscribe and comment down below some of your favorite settings. Let's get into it. There's interactive prompt style. I have mine on compact. On default, it gives you just a little bit more information as far as like it tells you the hop up goes with that gun or not. If you've played this game for a while, then you'll realize that like compact is just a little bit cleaner, a little bit nicer, and you don't need as much like hints, if that makes sense. Button hints I just have on. It doesn't really matter, kind of personal preference there. Crosshair damage feedback, I have this set to off. It's when you shoot at someone and there's this little X that pops up. Here, I can show you. When I shoot, that little X comes up in that. So I turn that off because I don't need that to know that like I hit someone, and then either with that I'll have the shield icon, so like the color of their shield, like this, like. So there you go. I just have that set off because it's less visual clutter, and when you hit someone and you have it off, you'll know you hit someone because, boom, there's some numbers right there. Damage numbers I have set to stacking. I know some people do floating or they'll do both. I think if you do both and or floating, there's kind of a little bit more visual clutter, so I don't really like that as much, but that's also personal preference. I don't know why you'd ever have this set to off. You'd never know because you want this set on for callouts. Ping opacity default, don't mess with that. Obituaries on because it shows you who's getting kills and everything, so when you're running up on a fight, you'll be able to see, like say you hear like R301 and you see someone die on your screen with the R301, then you know that you're definitely around that squad that just either finished up fighting or is fighting, so on and so forth. Minimap rotation, this means that the map rotates as like you rotate, but if you turn that off, then the top of your map is always north. Weapon cycle, auto cycle on empty, have that set to on. You can have it off too. I see it both ways, but I have mine set to on. Personal preference. Doesn't really hurt or help you, I would say. Kind of just maybe something you don't have to really worry about when you run out of ammo in a weapon. But hopefully you just don't run out of ammo, you know, then you don't have to worry about it. Auto sprint, got that set to on. Double tap sprint off. Jetpack control, I have that on hold. And I play on controller, so I have that on hold. It's a lot easier when you're using Valkyrie, so you don't get like stuck in the air. If you have it on toggle, then you can maybe get stuck in the air and forget. But if you like it on toggle, then by all means go for it. But I have mine on hold. Incoming damage feedback 3D, I don't really mess with that. Taking damage closes death box or crafting menu. You need to turn this off. This will help you when you're engaged in a fight and you need to shield swap. If you have this on, then you won't be able to shield swap. When someone hits you, it'll take you back out, so you'd have to reload in, and that could cost you some valuable seconds. Hop up, pop up. I just have that set to on. Streamer mode, have that off. You can turn that on if you want to. It'll just make your name anonymous. Anonymous mode also makes your name anonymous on your death boxes and everything. And it says like a presentation, obituary, and other locations of living opponents. So I have that disabled. No one's really coming to stream snipe me. Usage sharing, I don't do much with that. I have it enabled, so whatever. Performance display, I have this on so that I can know like if I'm going to lag or if I'm dropping frames. And when I play on a set frame of 144. I think if you are on PC, you probably want that around the 140 or 120 range, like in there in between 120 and 140. If you're on console, obviously you're only set to 60 frames per second. Everything else is kind of preference. Let me see. I have my reticle set to green. Tried a bunch of different reticles, but I have it set to green because I think it's easier to see with green, and our eyes are more geared towards seeing green than any other color, so that's why I have mine set to green. If you want to copy it, 78 255 39, and I have everything else personal preference. All your subtitles and colorblind mode, I have that set to off, but I did run what is it, Deuteranopia or Deuteranopia. I'm butchering those, but so like I said, I play on controller, but I play on PC. But I used to play mouse and keyboard, and when I was playing mouse and keyboard, it just really wasn't something that was comfortable for me. So I went back to my controller, but played mouse and keyboard for a couple of months. Here's some of my settings. I don't know if you want to piggyback off of them or not, but my controller settings, here's my button layout. I run a customize because I watched a video so I could set up my controller to tap strafe. And if you're wanting to set your controller up so that you can tap strafe, you can only do it when you're on PC. I looked up this guy, he's called IllSpooky on YouTube, and he basically shows you how to set up the tap strafing on like Steam, so you can set that up there. But I'm on customize, you know, my jump's A. I have paddles on my controller, so my jump is on one of my back paddles as well as my crouch. Then everything else is kind of just personal preference. I know some people, you know, change a lot of these, or if you play claw, like a lot of these might make a difference, or you might use them for other things. Stick layout, keep that default. Interact/reload button, this just means that I tap to interact with stuff, but I have to hold to swap weapons, like if I'm swapping out different weapons. So I just have that on tap to use and reload. I think that just feels better. That's kind of a personal preference thing too. Crouch button I have on hold. I have it on hold because I think it's easier to crouch spam when you have this on hold as opposed to toggle. On toggle it feels a little bit more clunky, and I used to be a toggle person the whole time. I never thought I would ever use hold. Then I switched to hold, and after, you know, about a couple of days, maybe even less, you get really used to this hold, and when you're crouch spamming and stuff and trying to strafe, it can help you out a real lot. Aim button, have that on hold. I don't know who uses toggle, but if you want to use toggle, more power to you. Survival slot button, have that on. Some people will turn it off, you know, so that they can inspect and stuff like that. Trigger dead zones, I have that off so that my triggers are way more sensitive when I'm firing. Menu cursor speed, this one's important, and you got to really try and dial this one in because this will help you navigate through death boxes. When you're navigating through a death box, you want to get the right sensitivity for your menu cursor speed so you can shield swap the fastest. If you're always going past the shield, or you're not getting to the shield in the correct amount of like time that you want, like, then either your sensitivity is too high or too low. Movement and aiming, I use ALCs, but if I don't have ALCs, for the longest I used super high at 6, and then I used 4. I think that was the best, like happy medium for me, because I do like a higher sensitivity, but I don't like such a high ADS speed. And then I had a classic respawn curve, response curve, and then small look dead zone, but those don't really matter now that I'm using ALC. Movement dead zone, small, invert off, vibration off. I take vibration off because the vibration, it can drain your controller, but also it can kind of throw off your shot. And I mean, if you play vibration your whole life, I really suggest just turning it off. For a little bit it'll feel weird, but it'll feel a lot smoother when you play a little bit more, and you'll really notice a significant difference when your hand's not always shaking when you're trying to fire and need to be more precise. My ALC, I have a smaller dead zone, and I watched another video on some ALC settings so I could learn a little bit more, but I forget whose video I watched of this. But here are just some of my ALC settings. The yaw speed, this is just how fast you turn left and right, and then your pitch speed is up and down. The rest of these I have to 0. They don't really do much, and I feel like learning about these won't really make a difference. ADS yaw speed, it's the same thing, left right when aiming, up and down when aiming. Now you want these extra and ramp up because of when you're aiming, it's a lot different than just like looking around. So this allows for like finer tuning of your ADS. Target compensation on, obviously melee target compensation on. My display mode, I go full screen, 16:9 native, 1920 by 1080 native. FOV, I have 104. I used to run it at the highest as I could, but when it's really super high, it kind of gives you that like fishbowl effect. So I didn't really like that. I turned it down a little bit. I think the highest you can go is what, 110. I don't know. I like 104 a little bit better. FOV ability scaling. This is like when you use your abilities, your screen will pull in. So like if you octane skim, like your screen will go in, so it'll like pull you like closer and shrink your FOV. I don't do that because I don't want to mess up my FOV. Sprint view shake minimal, and then here's my advanced settings. VSync disabled. I got the boost on. Adaptive resolution FPS target, I just have that at 0. Because I went through my own settings and my properties in my game on Steam, and I changed my FPS cap to 144. Anti-aliasing none. Everything else is really just on low, so that I can get the best performance out of my game, because on my computer I also stream too, so I want just the best performance of the game and the best performance for my PC. And on Apex Legends, there's not the graphics, you don't really need super high. You don't need to play on high. It's not going to really give you a more of an advantage. Discard that. Here we go. Audio right now, this is all kind of just up to you. This is all personal preference. I'd suggest that if you are playing on PC though, you have push to talk and not open mic, but everything else is kind of personal preference. Hopefully this video was able to help you out, and if I missed anything, please comment down below and let me know. Don't forget to like and subscribe on the video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.